viewers, and welcome to a first look at Gran Turismo 6 then. It's here at last, another long-awaited title. It's on the PS3 rather than the PS4 of course, but either way it's certainly looking fantastic at the moment. We've covered it at E3, we covered it at Gamescom, and now we'll go through some launch coverage as well. I'm joined here today by Neil Williams, who was a runner-up at the GT Academy. Neil, how's it going?
I'm good. Hi there everybody.
Looking forward to this GT6 action. Your first time seeing it here. Intro is very impressive. What are your thoughts of this so far?
I mean, already it looks a little bit smoother than Gran Turismo 5. There's just a little showing off with the lighting and stuff like that. You can see the stars and yeah, the graphics, textures. They all look pretty rich. Really beautiful looking game so far.
I mean, certainly, I think it's just to think that this is running on a home system, you know, that's several years old. It's amazing what they're squeezing out of this technology right now, and I think it really bodes well for the future to think they're already getting this out of the PS3. We've been looking at Forza 5. That's impressive. We're looking at this, and yes, there's going to be issues with fidelity, and we'll point those out in the game, no doubt. But at the same time, we're seeing this hardware pushed to a limit, and it still looks very, very good indeed. I mean, look at that, and the North side there, the rally cars. Hey, it's stunning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, I know Polyphony Digital, they've always been synonymous with beautiful graphics. If you remember, I think Gran Turismo 3 at one stage was voted one of the most beautiful games ever when that came out, and they've done it again, definitely. They've definitely got a handle on the graphics. Looks absolutely stunning, looks almost next gen if you ask me, so we'll see what it's like when we get in the game.
Yeah, I think well, the intro always makes it look good and they use that kind of edge feather effect, but I think scenery wise it's nice. As we said, we've seen these stars that they've done, and of course they've certainly pushed the hardware in every way they can. They said if there's an area that needs improvement, they've gone for it, and they've gone to the moon as well. They've gone to the moon. I think that just shows how hard they're trying to do something with this hardware. So we see the new menus, the new UI. We can see here, I've been playing this now for a couple of days. I've done the novice races. You can see here they're all done. I've done my B license and I've gone into my national B, and you can see these all contain short races within them, series of races, and they've all been completed as well. We've got karting there. We'll look at all of this in videos to come, full screen and multi-screen replays. Still a couple more I've got to do in that, then it's all done, and then we'll be on to these other races and modes as well. The coffee break challenges are good fun, knock over cones, do fun things, but they are really, really hard. So we'll look at that another time. We are playing with the control pad at the moment until my wheel is set up, so that is making it quite tricky, but either way we'll try to share as much of this game as we can. Neil, what do you make of the interface?
Looks pretty neat so far. It's very easy on the eye. The only thing that might be a bit of a concern is the moving background. Maybe some people might find it a little bit off-putting. But in terms of the apps, it looks very well structured, and looks pretty easy to go through them.
Yeah, certainly a professional look to it all. We have a Goodwood Festival speed, and again that's quite tricky with the pad, I'll point out, and I'll show that again on a later video as well. And we have all the usual options here. I haven't investigated all of these yet. That's something on the to-do list. There is so much to see and do in Gran Turismo 6. It's going to take a few days. Online, obviously the game's not in the shops yet, so it's not all online yet, and there is going to be some form of update, I assume, or board wipe between now and launch. And you can see in the top right corner some of the cash I've been earning there, saving up for some fast cars, and already I've been able to save up some cars. Let's look at my garage, and that's just after a day's play. So we can see the car list there. It's developing nicely. So I've got a few cars, and no doubt I'll be adding to that greatly in the next couple of days. Always handy to get those free cars as well along the way. Now we're going to take a look in the gallery, and we're just going to check out a replay first. And this, we're going to watch a full screen replay, and we're going to watch some multicams of this in the coming days. But first, let's just take a look at Goodwood Festival speed. We'll just play this in the KTM X crossbow, and we're going to see what this is all about. Neil, your first time seeing Goodwood Hillclimb. What do you make of this so far? Well, when it's up in a moment. Obviously, you've already seen it, but everyone else hasn't. But you've seen it already. What did you make of it?
What you will notice is that as I said, the graphics are absolutely stunning, especially for a PlayStation 3. So it's amazing, as you'll see now where the car gets moving, and all the camera angles and stuff. I really like the camera angles on Gran Turismo 6. I think they've improved it quite a lot. You'll see with some of the other tracks like Brands Hatch, you see some more TV style replays, as that one is there. Again, you can see the suspension moving a little bit as well. That's the only thing that seems to be a bit of a problem. Well, a couple of things is things like the frame rate and stuff. So it doesn't seem to be too bad on this track. But yeah, otherwise it's looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, frame rate, there is some frame rate. I mean, you can't see on YouTube because obviously the frame rate's limited on YouTube. The game runs at 60 frames from bumper cam solid. From some in-cars, it's not as smooth, and of course it drops to 30 with improved sort of effects, if you like, for the replay cams. But either way, Goodwood looking very detailed there. Lots to see as I come across the line. That was a lot harder than it looks with the control pad, I can tell you. Very tricky indeed. We're going to exit that now, and we're going to take a look at another replay, which of another race I've done in a Pagani Huayra. Now, that was challenging. The Pagani Huayra with the pad I did find quite difficult in terms of power and braking. But as it's old school using the controller, I just had to regress myself slightly to enjoy that. Brands Hatch then, one of my favourite courses, as many of you will know, coming to Gran Turismo for the first time. Again, it's one I'll be spending a lot of time on. As, oh, you can actually see my gamer tag on the screen there. Oh dear, I forgot that. So probably will mean a few random friends requests coming in now. Do say hello if you send a friends request. Actually, talking of which, I don't know the limit of the friends list on the PS4. I don't have a PS4 yet, but something for the future. But here we go, on with the Pagani Huayra, going along Brands Hatch for this replay. Neil, your thoughts when you look at this?
It's stunning. Just love the texture of the car. You can see that metallic sheen of the paint just coming off there. It looks absolutely beautiful. So far, you can see the TV style replays. You can't see it from here, from YouTube, but the frame rate's a little bit of an issue. But as you can see, the angle of the replays is beautiful. And I think the sound as well is not too bad on this. Don't know what it's going to be like generally, but the Pagani Huayra does sound pretty good so far. The color's very rich, and yeah, it's one of the tracks I was really looking forward to as Brands Hatch.
You mentioned that colour there. Of course, it's got very green grass. They do like that with Japanese games. They like nice sort of bright colour palette. I like the colour palette. One thing I'm going to point out in a moment actually is they have a very cool time of day feature, which is very quick on this game. Works very well on this circuit. And every time of day, it works instantly, and it looks very effective as well. These cars here are running on a harder difficulty setting, but they're still quite challenging to follow. They tend to brake at unusual times, but they have worked on making the AI a little bit less predictable this time, so they will protect their line. And often that can be a little bit frustrating when you have a two-lap race and you need to win. So it does mean there's a bit of argy-bargy into a few corners where you just go for it. I was braking there, otherwise I would have got cut off into the corner. This car is super powerful. It has tons and tons of power, way more power than it can handle. So you want to get on the straight and then really nail it, and then brake nice and early for the corners. Of course, it has its air brakes, which is always handy as well. Great circuit up into Druids on the inside there. Classic move, which I've used far too often on an F1 2013, and that takes me through. And it's certainly a lot more tricky than it looks. Now, obviously, we have the different camera viewpoints, which we have here. Let's take a look. So I was just looking at those options and stuff earlier, and we can change view, normal view, driver's eye view, so you can see the in-car here as well, which is nice. And again, remembering that this is a current gen console, not next gen, so detail in car is very nice to see as I try and find a way through there on the inside. Again, you'll have seen the car move across slightly to protect its line, so it does make it slightly tricky as we navigate this course. Again, I look forward to testing it with a wheel. Neil, you was mentioning a bit about force feedback. You'd like to see improved force feedback in this version.
Yeah, I think one thing that I noticed about GT5, which I'd love to have changed, is is that the dynamics of the feedback. You do have some feedback, but the main thing with Gran Turismo was it just kind of gave a kind of stiff feeling. So there isn't that much much feedback coming off the actual tarmac or the curbs or anything like that. I thought the curbs are pretty weak in Gran Turismo 5, so it'd be nice to get some proper good feedback off of that. Especially for those of you who have tried something like Assetto Corsa, you know what I'm talking about. You know, there's a lot of feedback coming from that. All sorts of different, it's telling you all sorts of different things about the behavior of the car. You can feel the front wheels, you can feel the rear wheels, you can feel the suspension, you can feel the curbs, you can feel the bumps in the road, the cracks, everything. So, I mean, we don't expect a console game to be as dynamic as that, but it would be good to see a little bit more dynamic feedback from this game.
I think certainly with the GT Academy, it's good that to have as much force feedback as they can give the player, really, in terms of feedback on the car and how it works. And I think certainly this time they've got physics. They've worked a lot more to make the physics more dynamic, to push the hardware, but there is always a limitation on hardware. And I think it's, you've got all these graphics, you've got all this data going through, and they are limited. I think there's a few shadows and here and there where they're struggling a bit with some of the visuals, but certainly it's impressive so far. Neil, tell me a little bit. You've been at the GT Academy. It's on TV at the moment. Looking back, what were your thoughts on GT Academy?
It was crazy because I think the first day I didn't expect to survive, to be honest with you, because I got in there and I never suspected that I'd ever have problems with the gears. I don't actually have a car which I drive on the road, so a little bit inexperienced in terms of driving, and I'd only had my license for about 4 weeks. And so I got in there and I couldn't believe how difficult it was to change the gears. I was the only person who had problems with them, and somehow managed to put a lap together right at the end. That kept me in 5th place, and I think there was somebody behind me. So the first day was a bit tricky, and then from there it was just a matter of just trying to build up some skill and some confidence. But the guys in our group were very, very strong. We had one of the strongest groups overall, and Adam, Mark, John, they were all really strong, and so was Tijni and Shane as well. They were also very, very strong. So it was a very difficult group to push through. But I mean, I did manage to pull off a couple of decent performances that got me in the top 3. But now looking back, I actually wish I had spent a bit more time on a simulator. I think that would have helped me with my driving, and because I realized afterwards that I wasn't using the trail braking technique enough. I wish I'd worked on that a little bit more. But that's just one of those things. You go in there and you don't really know what to expect, and then you learn about your strengths and your weaknesses, and sometimes it's not enough right at that point. But it was a fantastic experience, and I'd recommend anybody who's got the ability to try and go for it.
Well, Neil, certainly it was a great experience. And those who haven't seen much of the GT Academy, we've got lots of information on the teamvv.com website, as well as the videos on YouTube as well. Do check those out. And of course it's now on ITV4, isn't it, as well? Every Wednesday night 8 PM you can check out the series there, and of course Neil will be featuring in that. Now here we have another mode. What was this mode again? I've gone into it without even thinking. Mission races, something new here. Neil, time for you to do a bit of driving. I'm putting you under pressure now. No pressure really. At the end of the day, until we've got a steering wheel set up, we've got all the excuses we need to just enjoy the game and do a few laps of Tsukuba. I said it right. And great circuit, drift circuit, very popular. And these races, the idea of these races is that you get very similar cars. So you start off with your slow cars. I have to admit, I've managed to save up quite a bit pretty quickly and save up a decent car. We're just going to, I have no idea what this is even going to involve here, so it's the first time I've even clicked on it to look at it. So it's a sector challenge that we've got here. So again, like the driving tests, you've got the different challenges. We had the coffee break challenge. That was knock over as many cones as you can. Wow, I don't know how anyone's going to do it, but I'm sure someone is on YouTube. Very challenging. and you have lots of little challenges like this as well. Graphics on the whole have been revised and improved detail and lighting throughout in the game since GT5. Neil, that's absolutely terrible. Sort it out. Do you know what? But it's brilliant because it shows, everybody needs to learn the game. And even when I was at GT Academy and I saw, all the top GT Academy guys pushing, and they would all make mistakes. They'd fly off the course and everything else. But the point is, you're learning every lap. You're getting a bit more information. You're understanding how to push the car. And one thing also is that this is the first time driving this car on this track, and all the cars do handle very differently. They have very different braking points, and of course Neil is using the twin stick style to get himself around here. So it's a nice little simple challenge to kick off with. A little bit, but just out of the gold there for Neil. So that, what that means. No, we won't go there yet. We're not going to do restarts on YouTube, trust me. We will get the golds on all the different things, but we're going to save that for another day. Let's take a look at what else we can do in the game. So more cash for me. Thank you, Neil. And we'll just have a look at some other bits. So obviously all the standard options are there. Save your ghosts and everything else. Save your replays, save your photos, download your replays to your PS3. And of course you can see there a number of different challenges as well. There's also a new track as well. I'll probably put this on a separate, maybe I missed it, I don't know. There's a kart track here which is quite funky. I don't remember some of these kart tracks in GT5, so I thought, well, why don't we take a look at these, and Neil, you can tell me if you recognise this one as well. Let's take a look now. Karting is actually really hard with a controller. The kart can spin out. It's because there's a lot of opposite lock in a kart in some of the slow corners. And there we go. Do you recognise this one, Neil? I can't remember now. Yeah. It was in the last one. I get mixed up with some of these karts. Some of these different kart tracks. Let's have a little drive of it anyway. I'm going to have a drive of this one. Neil, you can come.
Okay, so here goes Alan in his go-kart race. So let's see how it does. So it's got the cockpit view here. No pressure, Alan. Yeah. Okay, took that first corner quite nicely, actually. There we go, he's doing pretty good. Yeah, for someone who was worried about the fact that the go-karting is difficult on the pad, seems to be doing rather well, if you ask me. So. Go. Just take him around the outside there. Nice little move. So yeah, so we're doing a 3-lap race as he comes into the apex there, under the Castrol Bridge, on the way to the first corner. I think with the wheel it's quite fun. Yeah, I quite enjoy it. It's got quite good feeling on it. So the cars have got quite sharp handling. Oh, easy there. Okay, so we're coming up just around about 2/3 of the way around the end of the second lap. Oh, it's the first time on this track. Okay. All right. Well, you're just about to begin your last lap as you come underneath the Castrol Bridge again, up to the first corner, and we're 4.5 seconds behind. Can you catch up on that last lap? Well, you never know. So 2/10 up already. There we go. Up to the fourth corner. Double apex, right-hander there. Oh, back just steps out a little bit. Around the long looping left-hander, 3.5 seconds behind. He's already picked up another second, almost. And he comes up to the last bit. Oh, it's just in front. Yeah.
Disaster. I had to learn the lap then. That wasn't my proper driving, viewers. I did win it earlier. I had a quick go and I won it. But we can look at the replays now as well. And again here, lighting, everything just had a general bit of spit and polish in this game since the last one. General and visual look, just a bit more refinement.
Actually really enjoyed the karting in GT5. Karting was really fun, so it's quite a nice little experience to drive it. So yeah, should be fun on this one as well. As you said, we haven't actually got a wheel here at the moment, so can't actually tell you what the feedback is like on this game, if it's any different to GT5 or not. But yeah, so certainly looking good so far.
Yeah, and if there's anything you'd like to see, any particular cars or courses you'd like to see videos on, do let us know. Tweet me on Twitter at BVGamer, and do let us know in the comments and on the website forum as well. We'd like to hear your feedback and what you'd like to see. Different cars tested, and hopefully at some point we'll also get some community races going as well. It's something I keep saying and keep meaning to do. But again, the replays look pretty cool in this version, and I like the little people walk around on the walkways. They'll just also add a little bit to it. I'm far too tall for karting myself these days, but do enjoy karting now and again. And this is a really nice circuit. If they built this, I would go there.
Yeah, it's a fun circuit. For those of you who don't know, Alan's about 7 foot tall, so that's why he's always moaning about his height in the go-karts and stuff. So yeah, he's a bit of a giant. But yeah, it's looking good. Fun track.
What are you looking forward to seeing in the game, Neil?
I want to see how the tuning goes on, like what you can actually do to your car, because they talked about thousands of aerodynamic parts that you can put on your car. Well, that are options in the whatever shop they've got for you. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. See what you can do with the cars. Looking forward to the 7-point rig, I think it's called, the suspension rig. See how that works. See how that helps with tuning the car, because that's one of the things that people always got questions about, is how to tune your car, how to make it go faster. Sometimes it's quite difficult to get the right combinations, so we'll see how much that actually helps out. And I think I'm just looking forward to seeing all the new tracks like Bathurst, and maybe just having another go on Brands Hatch with a wheel or something. I'm looking forward to seeing how the feedback is, how that's changed since the previous games, and just looking forward to any surprises that they might have for us.
Well, I can tell you right now that I haven't got to all this sort of stuff yet, because this is going to come in the next few races when I start upgrading my cars and tuning and everything else. So there's lots to come. There's so much to discover, but first I've got to get through my licenses, and I've got to work my way up in the game. But this has been a first look at Gran Turismo 6. I hope you've enjoyed my new playing there in the karting, and the quick look at the menus and the replays. And again, if there's anything you'd like to see, do let us know in terms of these options. Of course, you have the arcade mode, and we'll explore some of these, test out some of the cars, test out some of the courses, and explore it all in the coming days. But that's it from me for now, and Neil as well, who's here as well. That's it from the both of us, and as ever, there'll be more soon.